Alright, welcome back to the channel. As promised, we're going to make a video on how to can your deer meat. This is the best way to eat deer meat. Well, every way to eat deer meat is the best way, but this is one of the premier ways. It's tender, it's quick, and it's easy, and everybody in my family enjoys it. You probably remember this doe from earlier in the season, the opening week of Mississippi rifle season.
All right, I got another long walk out of here, come back, a long walk in here, and a long drag out of here. But I'm excited. More meat for the freezer. It's a big old pretty doe. Shot her from right across this little creek in that ladder stand that I put up down here.
For us. But anyway, we got the ingredients here. Super simple recipe, and it just requires some canning jars, and then obviously we already got our deer meat all cubed up nice. You can see this meat is trimmed of all the fat and tendon and sinew and all the stuff that's not going to look good. Not that you can't eat it. That's not going to look good in your deer meat, in your cans once you can it. But anyway, it's all cleaned up and ready to go. All we did, super simple, all we did was just cube this meat up in 1 inch or so cube. Some of it may be a little bigger, some of it a little less. Doesn't make a whole lot of difference. But anyway, so with the canner we have, just a canner we picked up from Walmart. We can do 7-quart jars in that canner, and we're gonna show you kind of the process. So the first thing we want to do is get our jar sterilizing and get everything else prepped and ready to start the canning process. So here we go.
Okay, so first what we're going to do is sterilize our jars and our lids in the oven. We got the oven set to 250, and we're going to put them in there for 20 minutes.
So while we're getting the jars ready to get them sterilized and get them in the oven, I do want to take this opportunity to say, hey, those of you who've been watching, thank you for watching, and leave us a comment down below what you think about our canning process. This is super simple and super easy.
I can't put the bands on there, is that okay? Oh. 20 minutes. What to do with the band?
Alright, we got the timer set for 20 minutes on the jars being sterilized, and you want to keep those jars. You can leave them in there longer. That's what we do. Keep them in there, keep them hot. You want to pack your raw meat in the hot jars. We'll show you about that in a second. But one thing that I want to mention with this pressure canner, it takes a minimum of 3 quarts of water. And what I found out is with these big canners, it takes a while to get heated up. And so we want to go ahead and get our 3 quarts of water in the canner and let it start heating up and getting warm. So let's go ahead and get that going. Alright, jars are sterilized and ready to go. We're going to get them out and show you how we pack the meat and get it ready to go in the canner. Alright, key ingredient is something to hold these hot jars with, and then make sure your hands are clean. Alright, here we go. So we're just gonna pack raw meat into the hot jars. The recipe in the book that came with the canner said to leave about 1 inch of headspace. You don't put any water or broth or anything in here. You can add a little bit of salt, canned salt, if you want to, and that's just for taste. But I think it tastes just fine without it. Whoops, hot. Yeah.
It's about 10 pounds of meat.
It's about 10 pounds, yes. The cool thing about canning this meat is it doesn't need any refrigeration after it's canned. It doesn't need to be put in the freezer. I mean, it can just last on the shelf, be stored on the shelf. And
Did I pack it too much?
yeah, we can.
Thank you. We're gonna need to do more jars.
Put that in the fridge and do more.
Okay. So long as we got the video, because that's what's gonna be, I'm splashing. Is that bad? I'm trying not to. Cramp on my shoulder. I can bring it closer. I should have used this sponge. Do I have these too much?
No. I think that's good. Yep.
I mean, we could have done maybe, you know, we got like too much.
Yeah.
All right, we got them all packed. Now we just want to make sure we wipe our rims there and keep them all clean so it'll seal really good. Okay.
Alright, so the next thing is we want to get the lid on here, and there's a line-up mark where you line it up, and you want to make sure everything's in place, everything's tight. You want to make sure there's you can see daylight through there, kind of like your nipple on your primer, your flash hole for your muzzleloader. You want to make sure that it's clear and you can get your steam coming out of the top. So place this on. Lock it on. Then we're going to wait till we get a good several minutes of some good steady steam coming out. And the process for this is we're going to cook this under 10 pounds of pressure for this little Presto canner. That's one of the little weights on top of your little rocker switch. And once we get good steam out there, we get the rocker switch on and we get a good rock back and forth for several minutes. Then we're going to set the timer for 90 minutes. Anyway, for now, we wait. Alright, we've got us a good flow of steam coming out of here. We're going to put our pressure rocker on top. And this little button back here will rise and we'll give it a good tight seal. And when this rocker starts to tick and rock, we'll set the timer for 90 minutes. May have to turn the heat down just a little bit. It doesn't have to be on high heat to maintain that pressure once everything gets set. So we'll give this a few minutes, and once this starts rocking or ticking, we will set our timer for 90 minutes. Alright, you can see we've got a little ticking going on. That thing is rocking, so we're going to set our timer for 90 minutes. Probably going to turn the heat down just a little bit. So about medium high. Anyway, I'll see you in about 90 minutes. Alright, timer's going off. That means it's time to turn it off. So you want to just turn your heat off, and you want to let this sit for a while, probably a couple hours, until it totally cools down. Remember, it's got pressure in it, and you do not want to try to open that pressurized, because that is super hot water. So we'll just wait till that cools down, and then we'll show you the end result and finished product